7 WWE Rocks here, and we're now live on the air. It was a great week of wrestling. I really enjoyed it. Some stuff I didn't like, I'll get into that later, but thanks for stopping by to watch this episode of Saturday Night Kickout, and it's number 2. So last week I had a lot of fun doing this, and I hope to have a lot more fun doing it today. And I'm not going to keep it too long, I'm trying not to, but I'm going to try to talk about everything that happened with wrestling, starting with Battleground, Raw, TNA, Ring of Honor, and even more. But first, as you can see, it's not even nighttime, but I told you guys that I had to start this episode early of Saturday Night's Kickout because I'm going to a show today, and it's Booker T's promotion, Reality of Wrestling. It's their first internet pay-per-view. I'm very excited to see. I've never seen a show of theirs, and I think starting off with a pay-per-view will really, set my standards very high with that company. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And I will be meeting, I'm going to show you some stuff that I'm going to be taking to hopefully get signed. I know DDP going to be there. Booker T, of course, is going to be there. Sharmel's going to be there, his wife. Carlito, Devon, Jinder Mahal, and I'm very excited to meet them. I'm hopefully going to get a ticket, my ticket signed by hopefully Carlito and Jinder Mahal. But if I can't, it is what it is. But I saw Carlito wrestle a few weeks ago when I went to that one show I was telling you guys about, and he was very good. I was very pleased by his wrestling talent, and I'm surprised WWE let him go. Not surprised, but he's good talent. He really is, and him doing the independent scene is great for a lot of wrestlers that get released by the WWE. It seems that if they get released by the WWE, just their name being in the WWE really helps out in the independent scene, and I think a lot of guys go to the independent scene and they're doing great. But first, I'm going to be meeting DDP. I'll post a picture on Twitter when I meet him, hopefully, and I'm going to get apparently I got a package where you get a limited edition 8x10 autograph by him, so that would be cool to show you guys. And then for Devon, I'm going to get him hopefully to sign this DVD cover. It's Turning Point 2005. I'm hopefully going to get, him to sign it, and then one day when I meet Bully Ray, get him to sign it, so that'll be cool. And also for Booker T, I thought nothing better than King of the Ring DVD set, him right in the middle. And hopefully he's not too busy where he can sign autographs. I know it's his show and it's his first internet pay-per-view, so I know he'll be very, very busy. So that is, if I can't get it, that's fine. I know he's very busy. But, so yeah, Booker T signed that. The main event's a steel cage match, and I'm very excited about that. But, enough about my show. Let's get right into it. I'm going to start talking. I got my notes and stuff. Also, I have a few stuff that I did not put in my notes that I really want to talk about, and I'm thinking I'm going to talk about it at the end of the show. But my reaction to Battleground last Sunday, of course, was Battleground. No Ambrose versus Rollins. That really sucked. I thought, people that really wanted to get Battleground and wanted to watch it, a lot of them wanted it because of Ambrose versus Rollins, and that really sucked that it didn't happen. And I think it's going to be a really good match for SummerSlam. I think they have to add a big stipulation to it, though. It can't just be a regular match now. I think a really big stipulation. And not just no disqualification. I think something really big is going to have to put online. Maybe Seth Rollins' money in the briefcase, but I would like to see a match that's not just no disqualification, something that's really crazy. But and then there was Jericho versus Bray Wyatt. That match was very good. A lot of people were surprised that Jericho won, but he comes back and he does put people over, and that's exactly what a veteran should do. So I'm very happy with what Jericho does in the WWE ring now. But he's lost so many times putting over young talent that he has to get a win, and I think it was good for him to get a win. I think Bray Wyatt will end up winning this entire feud, so I think that's the positive right there. But yeah, it sucked to see Bray Wyatt lose, but I know Jericho's got to get a big win to really stay up at the top and make sure that if he puts over a younger talent, it actually means something. And let me think of the others here. Hold on. The other matches, Usos versus Harper and Rowan, match of the night easily. I'll talk more about that match at the end of the show because it's definitely up for match of the week, and I'll talk more about that. But in the main event, which was a finisher fest, I really was disappointed in the main event. Not disappointed because honestly I didn't have any high hopes going into that main event, but it is what it is, and John Cena got the win, and I think he's holding for Brock, I just think he's holding it for SummerSlam, and I think I'm actually going to talk more about that later in the segment, so yeah, definitely think he's just holding it for Brock. But moving on, we're going to transition to Monday Night Raw, which So basically, what I'm saying about Battleground, it was very disappointing, but I know it's really just a pay-per-view to skip over to lead into SummerSlam, and I get that. So moving on to Raw, I'm going to start off with some big segments. It's not really going to be a review, but I'm just going to talk about the biggest segments. Paige turning heel. Finally, she is really, I think, the anti-diva from NXT we saw earlier in her NXT career. We saw her, like shake hands with AJ on Raw or something, and they were like, y'all best friends and stuff. And then as AJ went to walk away, she grabbed her hair and literally just threw her to the ground and then gave her a bunch of headbutts. A lot of people said the headbutts looked fake, but I mean, coming from a diva, I think that's pretty cool that a diva headbutts. I really like that. And she just beat the crap out of AJ, and I'm very excited to see. I'm hoping SummerSlam they have a really good match, or even have a match at that point. I really hope they have a match at SummerSlam, and I hope it's longer than the Battleground match and definitely better. I think these two can really put on a great match, and probably the best Divas match I've seen this year was Probably best Divas match I saw this year was Emma versus Paige at NXT Arrival. That match was amazing, and I think that's really what AJ and Paige can do. I think they can put on a really good Divas match that gets fans that don't care about a Divas match really, really into it. So I'm very excited to see. I'm glad she's a heel now, and I'm very excited to see where this feud leads. I think can be really good. Let's talk about the Nation of Domination 2014 version. I made a video about it, but I would like to talk about it more. Some people are calling it the Nation of Jobber Nation. And it's basically Xavier Woods, Kofi Kingston, and Big E Langston are in a group now. Xavier Woods is saying it's not about kissing babies and making everybody happy. It's about taking what we want, and that's exactly what they're going to do is take. No more getting chances. They're going to just take. So I really do like this group. I hope they get TV time. I know it's kind of those guys that are jobbers, but they have a lot of talent, like Kofi and Xavier Woods. Big E Langston's not really a jobber, but he isn't at that main event status. Maybe this can put him at the main event status. And hopefully we see Titus O'Neil in the group, maybe R-Truth. And I would really like to see former Nation of Domination group member, Mark Henry. I think that'd be really cool if he was in it. Some people are saying let's make him lead the group. I think Xavier Woods is going to be the leader. But I would be totally fine with if Mark Henry led the group. That'd be cool. But yeah, I think they really, if they're taking it seriously and they're not just jobbers like 3MB, I think Mark Henry should join the group, and I think that'd be really good. Or Titus O'Neil. But let's transition. Stephanie McMahon was arrested. This segment was really good. I really enjoyed it. I thought the whole, Brie Bella being a fan and then Stephanie slapping her was really good, really well done. And then even better, I thought, was when, JBL's talking, looking at the camera, the three announcers are just talking about it later in the night, and JBL kind of like stutters, and I was like, well, was JBL forget his lines or something? But he looks over, and sure enough, Stephanie McMahon is having a talk with some officers, and that were like in street clothes or normal clothes, but they were showing her badges, and she was like, this is what, like, she had no idea what's happening. She was like, they were asking her, did you slap Brie Bella? And she's like, yes, but she attacked me first or something like that. And they arrested her right there. I thought it was really well done. I thought it was great with Triple H yelling at the cops, saying, this is career decisions, people. I'm going to have your badges and stuff. I thought that was really well done. I thought Triple H he really did a good job doing that. And Stephanie screaming, I'm scared, I can't go to prison. I thought that was great too. And so it was a very good segment. I think next week we're going to have, on this, this week's Raw, I think we're going to have Stephanie McMahon maybe announce that Brie Bella and her and have a match. Or I've actually been reading that the WWE is thinking about turning Nikki Bella heel. So that could be very interesting. Maybe they're waiting. Maybe they have Nikki Bella maybe Nikki Bella's so pissed off that she keeps getting attacked because of Brie that she turns heel and they have a match at SummerSlam. I know everybody's wanting to see Stephanie McMahon versus Brie, but maybe since they're having Triple H versus Reigns at Night of Champions. That's what they're thinking, because the network, it's that 6-month cutoff, so they want people to sign back up for the network. So they're gonna have Night of Champions really good. I think maybe have Nikki Bella versus Brie Bella at SummerSlam, and then maybe at Night of Champions, Stephanie McMahon versus Brie Bella, and then have Triple H versus Reigns at Night of Champions. So it's two McMahons, McMahon Helmsley, fighting for a match. So I think that'd be cool. But whatever happens, I think I'm gonna be very excited, and I want to see Stephanie McMahon and Brie Bella. I think this is a diva storyline that it's much more than just like a championship. It's like bigger, and I think that's exactly what really makes for a good diva storyline. I'm very excited. I thought it was also hilarious when Triple H is like telling, I think it was Joey Mercury, to be honest. Joey Mercury backstage, family comes first. Of course he's gonna save his wife, and he's gonna go to the jail with her. And Joey's like, yeah, I completely agree, but who are you gonna make the decision about John Cena's opponent? And Triple H was like thinking about it, and he just went off saying family's first. He loves family, he's going to be there for his wife, and he's going to be with her. And then he was thinking, she's going to get processed, right? That could take a while. And he's like, yeah, absolutely. And so she won't be in an actual cell until maybe an hour from now. And he's like, yeah, you have enough time. I just thought that was really funny. And Triple H ends up making the announcement on who's John Cena's opponent, which is, I'm transitioning to the next thing. Here he is. Plan C has been accepted. It's the fate for John Cena and his championship at SummerSlam. The match has been just shown right here. Brock Lesnar or Triple H has accepted Brock Lesnar to be the new #1 contender. And a promo was really good to end Raw. The Paul Heyman, of course, fabulous on the mic. I wish Brock Lesnar would have done something, maybe F5 like some big person. I'm trying to think of some star that he could have F5, but I honestly can't. But I wish he had done more. I am fine with him with the promo ending Raw, just showing Brock Lesnar beat the Shriek. I mean, who can stop him? And I think Brock Lesnar should take the belt at SummerSlam, but I think he needs to do it cleanly. And that's something John Cena doesn't have the best resume of, letting people go over him cleanly. But I'm not saying Brock Lesnar. I'm not saying if Brock Lesnar won, that's technically going over, because he did beat Undertaker, so it should be this big main event. And if he wins, it's like, yeah, I mean, of course Brock Lesnar's going to win. He's a beast. And so I'm thinking it reminds me of Brock versus Rock at SummerSlam 2002, I want to say. Brock won cleanly. He took the World Heavyweight Champion, or the Undisputed Championship, from The Rock cleanly. And so I really think John Cena needs to give it to him cleanly. Hopefully, John Cena, I'm probably guessing maybe there's going to be a screw job where Brock wins it, but he beat Undertaker. He beat Undertaker cleanly. He's got to beat Cena cleanly. I mean, honestly. But, yeah, Raw was okay. I'm not going to say it was a great show, but it was very good, and that's good moments. I'm going to talk a little more about it during the Match of the Week segment. And let's transition into TNA. Call it ECW, because, honestly, I love ECW, all right, guys? I'm nothing bad about ECW. They're great. I love that company. A legacy should always live on for a wrestling company. But TNA, they need to. I hate telling the fans what to chant. You're a fan of a wrestling company. Chant whatever you want to. Boo a good guy. Cheer a heel. I don't care. But I just think when you're at a TNA show, I don't get why they keep chanting ECW and stuff. And I know the ECW legends are there, but let's get TNA chants started. Like, let's really cheer for TNA and say the great company they are. I know ECW is great, and Tommy Dreamer is trying to get his House of Hardcore Wrestling, involved a little with the shirts and the merchandise and stuff. But let's chant TNA. I think having TNA guys and just the legacy they have, let's cheer about that. Let's not think about ECW. It makes me think that this is more of an ECW show than really TNA. I mean, you had Snitsky and Ezekiel Jackson make their debut. I'm going to talk about that a little more, but actually I'm going to say that when I talk about that segment, but let's just keep that in mind. I think they're chanting ECW too much, and I think you're wrestling for TNA. Let's get some TNA chants going. Let's really talk about TNA and not just say, oh, we're letting ECW guys in, because it's making it sound like ECW is a better company. It was a better company. That's all I got to say about that, but I'll talk about it more later. I know probably a lot of you disagree, but that's how I feel. I think they should chant more about TNA and talk about the greatness of TNA. Now, moving on, Matt Hardy returned. I'm very excited for his return. I'm glad that he's back, and I really hope he gets his act together and really does what he did in ROH. He came back and he came to Ring of Honor and really had a good career in there. And he did some great matches, and I think he had his act together, and I think that's what he needs to do in TNA. It can't be like his first run in TNA. It needs to be a new Matt Hardy, and just really, and I think TNA would be great for Matt Hardy if he was a full-time roster member. Now, and Hardy returned, and Jeff Hardy, they said that they gotta beat the best, and to prove that they are the best. So they called up the Wolves, and there you have it, Destination X, the Wolves versus the Hardys, or Tag Team Championships on the line. That's gonna be a fantastic match, and I can't wait for Destination X. And I'll talk more about Destination X, but moving on, Low Ki returned. I was really mad that the announcers honestly did. It seemed like they were just like, Loki's back, yay, woo! Like Loki's a great wrestler, and he was a good part of TNA with Triple X. Now, when he came back, I thought, why aren't the announcers freaking out? Oh my gosh, Loki answered Zema Ion's challenge. I didn't get that, but they said how great Loki was, but they said it in just like a monotone voice. And then when King Mo comes out, they're like, oh my gosh, it's King Mo. He's the greatest man alive. Like, it's Loki. Let's freak out, announcers. I think Mike Tenay and Taz did a really bad job on that. When a great guy like that from TNA, from original TNA, Triple X, comes back, they should have had a better freak out moment. And Mike Tenay freaks out over the stupidest stuff, but I don't get why he didn't freak over out of that. But Loki got the win, easy win for him, and he's going to be appearing at Destination X. I'm very excited about that. And moving on, what's next in the segments? Option C has been accepted. We got Plan C on Raw, and we got Option C on Impact. Austin Aries, he did a great promo saying how much the X Division Championship means to him, but he's got to show that he's the best, the greatest man that ever lived, and that he's better than Bobby Lashley. So it has been accepted. It will be Austin Aries versus Bobby Lashley. That match will be really good. I really do like Austin Aries, and he cut a really great promo. I tell all of you to go back and watch it. It was really good. I really enjoyed it. And at that point of TNA, I honestly was not really enjoying the show. I thought some matches were kind of boring. I thought the Hardy Boys' return was awesome, but then when it was the show was kind of getting boring, and then when Austin Aries cut that promo, I was back into it. I was like, okay, this is good. And then the second half of TNA I thought was much better than the first. But let's talk about King Mo is back. I'm sorry. Actually, let's not talk about that. Let's say Destination X. I know Homicide's returning. I know Loki's going to be there, and Brian Cage. He's great. He's a really good wrestler. He's actually my buddy Ryan. He jokes about he's like a freak on steroids. He's like the Scott Steiner of independent wrestling. He's huge, but he can high fly too, and it's pretty crazy. So that'll be exciting to see Brian Cage on there. And Destination X is looking very good. We'll have a new X Division champion crowned. Austin Aries versus Bobby Lashley for the tag team or for the World Heavyweight Championship, and then the Wolves versus the Hardys for the tag team championships. That Destination X is going to be a really good show. I hope Raw really steps up, because if they don't, Destination X is just going to blow them out of the water, and it's going to be a really good show, and I'm very excited to see what unfolds. And then moving on, we have, excuse me, let me get a drink first. King Mo returned to TNA now. I'm sorry about that. King Mo returned to TNA. Now, I don't really care that they promote Bellator and stuff. I mean, they're on Spike TV. Spike TV has that contract where basically they kind of have to, and I'm fine with that. But King Mo returning, I thought that was really... I'm trying to say this in like a positive way, because I hate negativity in the wrestling world, but I thought having King Mo return and saying he's this big force is really stupid. I know he's training to be a TNA wrestler, but until I see an actual TNA match of his, I don't care about his Bellator stuff right now. I mean, I'm sure he's a great competitor, but right now I'm thinking about his TNA career. As long as I haven't seen a match of his in TNA, I know he's training to be one, but being a TNA wrestler. But until I see a match, I'm not going to give him any props, because I think they're building up. I'm fine with them talking about Bellator, and I think he shouldn't be a main event guy. I think maybe like during the 9 o'clock part, when it's transitioning to the second hour of the show, let's have him do something like, James Storm spits beer in his face and then he just knocks him out. I think that'd be cool. But I think that'd be a good way to talk about Bellator without really bringing him into the storylines. But I just think it was stupid to bring him into the main event status. Now, King Mo, he lost to Rampage Jackson on the Bellator show, and they said, oh, he fought Rampage in his home city, so that's not fair. Rampage Jackson had the crowd behind him. I'm sorry, if anybody actually thought King Mo was gonna beat Rampage Jackson, then that was just... I'm not gonna talk like I know UFC, because I really don't know much about UFC. I do watch it, and it's good. I really enjoy the sport, but Rampage Jackson's the freaking UFC like former I'm trying to think of the championship he won. He's a former champion in UFC, and then he comes to Bellator, and you think King Mo is gonna beat him? I honestly did not think that at all, and Rampage beat him. Now, King Mo having him in the main event, I just think it's kind of stupid. I don't think he should be in a main event status unless he does a match. When he does a match, I'm fine with, but right now I don't think he should be in a main event status. But let me know if you guys agree. I'm fine with them promoting Bellator. I know they kind of have to, but I just don't think he should be in the main event status. If you guys agree with that, let me know. If you don't, let me know in a positive way, though. And, yeah, Snitsky and Ezekiel Jackson debuted in TNA. I made a video about it. I talked about, I don't like that they're saying Ezekiel Jackson and Snitsky are the new ECW guys. First of all, Ezekiel Jackson, yes, was the last ECW World Heavyweight Champion, but he did it when it was WWE owned, and I don't think that really counts because that wasn't true ECW, I think. And then Snitsky, I honestly don't remember him ever being in ECW. I could be wrong. And I'm fine with them being in TNA. That's great. They're great talent, and I just don't think, I think they're being booked the totally wrong way. I think it's good that they're like this big muscle for Dixie Carter's new group, but don't be calling them ECW guys. I just think that's stupid, and it goes to the back. It goes back to what I was originally talking about. It's a TNA show. Let's not keep making it sound like it's ECW. I love ECW. I love it to death, but it's TNA. I want to watch TNA. I don't want to watch ECW. I don't want to watch WWE when I'm watching TNA. I want to talk about TNA. But you know, let me know if you guys agree. Sorry if I went off a little rant. And yeah, Snitsky and Jackson was great debuting, and I'm very excited. I don't care that they were in the WWE. I know people are like, oh, TNA only gets WWE people. That's they're good talent, so why not get them? And that choke slam that Snitsky gave to Bully Ray was awesome. I really thought that was cool. The height he got with a big guy like Bully Ray is insane. But yeah, so they're good. They're in TNA, and I'm glad about that. But I just think they're being booked wrong. Let me know if you guys agree. And moving on to end of the show. Match of the week, since Battleground technically was this week, I'm going to have to include those matches, and I'm going to have to give match of the week. I will talk about some honorable mentions, so let me say my honorable mentions first. I missed Dean Ambrose versus Cesaro on SmackDown. It was a no disqualification match, but I watched some of it on YouTube. They had a small clip of it, and it looked like a really good match, and I'm sure it could have been match of the week, in my opinion, but I didn't see the full match, so I'm not going to give it that. But yeah, Cesaro suplexed. He did that thing where Ambrose is on the outside, right, on the apron, and he's able to pull him up without, like, putting him on the top rope. He just pulls him straight up, and he suplexed him onto, like, 10 chairs at least, just on the ground, and it was a really cool move, and it was really sweet to see. But, yeah, that's an honorable mention. I didn't watch it. I wish I would have. Another honorable mention, and this could be a shocker, Miz versus Ziggler. That match was freaking good, and Ziggler got the win. I know it seems like Ziggler's always in these matches that kind of happen in the middle of Raw, and it's a really good match, but we all know Ziggler's not going to win. And it looks like he is at a lot of points, but in the end, he never does win. But this week, he beat The Miz in a match, and it was really good, and I really enjoyed the match. It was definitely, I think, underrated, because a lot of people expected, you know, Miz, and he isn't the best. He can't put on this really good match. But no, him and Ziggler put on a really good match, and I really enjoyed it. But if I have to give match of the week, since Battleground was this week, technically, I'm going to have to give it to the Usos versus Luke Harper and Eric Rowan. That match was awesome. I really enjoyed it. The first two falls, when the Usos got one and then Harper and Rowan got one, it was kind of boring. Not boring, but it was kind of slow, I was thinking. And they got it. They got it. Those first falls really quick. So I was thinking, wow, if they're doing them this quick, then is this match not going to be long? But then after that, it got a whole lot better, and I really enjoyed that match. Great match. Usos and Harper and Rowan always steal the show, and they did it 2 pay-per-views in a row. I think they had best match of the night with Money in the Bank and then Battleground. Sorry, but yeah. And now we're going to, almost at the end of the show, we're going to do that kick-out segment I did last week where I talked about there's so much negativity in the wrestling world. We got to talk about the positive. We got to do that big kick-out where there's still some life in wrestling. And I know that people say, you know, oh, this is a boring week or blah, blah, blah. You know, this show is boring, this show is boring. I just want to do a segment where this week was a great wrestling week. I know Battleground wasn't the best, but it had Usos versus Luke Harper and Eric Rowan. That match is always great. Raw had Miz versus Ziggler. That was fantastic. Stephanie McMahon got arrested. That was a hilarious segment. And I really think it made a Divas storyline really good. And it was like, wow, a lot of people are taking notice in this. Brock Lesnar is finally the #1 contender for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, and he's coming after John Cena at SummerSlam. That'll be awesome. TNA, I didn't enjoy as much as I thought I would, but I think it's really going into Destination X, and I know Destination X is going to be an awesome show. You've got Hardys versus Wolves, Austin Aries versus Lashley, and then you have just a bunch of X Division stars returning, and that's going to be great. And I'm forgetting one match that I talked about earlier. I have no idea what it was. That's going to be at Destination X. I can't remember it at the moment, but Destination X is going to be an awesome. Oh, it's the new X Division champion is going to be crowned. I know who it is, but I'm very excited to see how it unfolds. So, yeah, this was a good wrestling week. I really much enjoyed it. Also, I want to talk about Sting. Came out during the Comic-Con's WWE's booth, Mattel booth. Sting made an appearance, his first WWE ever actual event that's WWE produced. Sting made an appearance, and it was awesome. It was really good to see him all decked out in the Sting outfit. The face paint. He had his black baseball bat. And then also, I'd like to talk about, just when you think you can't like Daniel Bryan even more and respect him even more, he pulls off a stunt like this and totally redeems himself. Daniel Bryan, he pulled into his driveway, I think, with his wife Brie Bella, of course, and he saw the door open and two people come running out, and they were, robbing his house. He said, I remember reading that he was very worried about his dog, and of course, I have 2 dogs, and if I saw the door open at my house, I'd be terrified if I knew the dogs were still in the house. And he said he raced after one of the criminals. I think his name was Cesar Sosa, I think. And don't hold me on that, but I think his name was Cesar Sosa, I'm sorry, and he got him in like a rear naked choke or something, and was able to, subdue the criminal, and he was able to hold him down until the cops got there and arrested him. So Daniel Bryan's a freaking boss. Now, when I heard of that story, I automatically thought, dude, he's got a, and I read the part where he caught a criminal. I was like, how funny it would be if the cops rolled up, saw Daniel Bryan and Brie Bella, and Daniel Bryan's got the freaking criminal in the yes lock. I thought that'd be so funny, but he got the criminal, and he's freaking boss. And I just think it's crazy. Oh, yeah, also, Daniel Bryan, he was informed by the doctors he will need a second surgery. He doesn't know if he's going to do it, but he's been encouraged to, so I think he should do it. And apparently, he still can't move his right arm very well. It's like 50% or something. He can't move it as much as they thought he would, and they're worried about this. This is why he's going to need a second surgery. It makes me think how crazy it is that he can barely move his arm. It's definitely not like the 100%. And he caught a criminal, and held him down. Daniel Bryan's a freaking boss. I don't care what anyone says. He's a boss. And, yeah, this was a really good story. He got some media attention, which is always great for the WWE. And I'm glad no one was hurt. And I think that's great. And that guy, he robbed the wrong person. But Daniel Bryan, you're a freaking legend. And I hope he has a recovery. And I hope his second surgery, if he does take it, if he does, say that he wants to have another one, I hope he goes extremely well, and I hope everything is fine after that. I want to see him back in the WWE ring. And so yeah, it was a great wrestling week. I love doing these shows. I was waiting for Saturday. I was thinking, when is Saturday going to come? This week's been going so slow. But thank you for watching. If you watched it full, I think I went 20 again. And if you watched it, watched all of it, if you watched some of it, thank you. Leave a comment, let me know what you liked, maybe what you didn't like about the show, but also do it in a kind, positive way, because I don't like, everyone yelling at each other about wrestling and stuff. It's just wrestling. We should just enjoy it and have fun with it. And, yeah, wrestling's awesome. I love it. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, all the good stuff. Follow me on Twitter, @7WRocks. I'm going to be posting pictures at the Booker T show today. And thank you for watching, and I really appreciate it. Wrestling's awesome, and let's just have fun with it, guys. Let's just really enjoy it. And, don't have too much hate over it. Let's just enjoy some good old-fashioned wrestling. Thank you. Have a nice day.